Good afternoon. I was going to start with a bit on the weather, but I can't remember what it's been like this week. How's it been like?
Nice yesterday, really nice. Paddle morning.
Oh yeah, is it cold?
No, it's good.
There you go. Talking about the weather, we took the boat out on Saturday, my wife and I, and it's the first time we've taken it out when it was windy, but we didn't know it was that windy until we got on the boat. Anyway, we took it out and it was okay going up and down, and then the time came to bring it back in, and I wouldn't say I was a natural boat driver, is that the term? Captain, whatever it may be. I lined it up perfectly to go into the marina, and I looked up and all of a sudden I was 20 yards further down. So on the fourth attempt they eventually got into the marina, it seemed a bit calmer, so I was alright, and then got to the end and started putting the back end in, and by the way, whenever this happens, I am thankful for them, but there's about 10 or 15 middle-aged men who all come out waiting to help. They absolutely love it, and thank God they did, because as I was putting the back end in, the wind was taking the front end in the same direction. So my lack of skills made it so, thank goodness there wasn't a boat in next to us, because the boat was parallel against the dock when it was supposed to be 90 degrees the other way. So someone had to give it a big shove to move it, and I stayed on the boat in embarrassment for a few minutes. But yeah, that's my lesson learned, not to go out when it's windy, which is a shame because it's windy quite often here. But there we go. So I hope everyone had an amazing Jubilee weekend. The weather was pretty kind to us. The Thursday, Sam and I went and did Fairfield Horseshoe, as if we don't spend enough time together. And did it in just under 5 hours, which was good. It threatened to either pour down or to come out sunny, and it did neither. So we could actually see the view, which is nice. But other than that, it was a bit blustery and cold. Right. So what we're going to talk about on this week's Ask AJ, which is Ask Jay. What often comes up, which is an interesting topic, when a buyer comes forward, is, and we have stats and data to back this up, is who's the best buyer to come forward, and what I mean by that is their position. So we've got cash buyers, we've got cash up on sale, we've got mortgage up on sale, or we've just got mortgage and second home buyers, etc. And there isn't actually much in it in terms of success rate of from offer to completion, but the general consensus, and I've heard this, I was speaking to a lady this week who was saying that the other agents, for a cash buyer, they roll out the red carpet, and they are if you're not a cash buyer, sometimes you can't even get into view. But we have actually data that suggests it's quite the opposite, that actually having some hoops to jump through and having a mortgage to fill out, and it takes quite a bit of time to go and get a mortgage and to fill out the forms and to send all the details, and so to actually have a mortgage and to have a home to sell has a higher success rate than when we just get someone with cash who comes on offers on one of our homes. And it's quite interesting to look at, because obviously if you think about it logically, if you've got, let's say, £1 million cash in the bank, to wipe that million out on a property, it's quite a big step. You've obviously worked hard for that money, and it's been quite a difficult process usually getting that money into your bank account. To all of a sudden go, right, it's going on a property, is quite a big step. Whereas if you're going to put down £200,000 on £1 million property, and you're borrowing the other 800,000 from the bank or wherever it may be from, it's a lot easier to give that amount of money up and to take someone else's money, and therefore, and it's probably quite often a bigger status thing if you haven't got the cash in the bank and you get a mortgage, and it's probably your first purchase of that amount, and therefore you're more likely to jump through hoops and to overcome challenges in order to go with that buyer. And we have data that backs this theory up. So if your home is on the market or you think about selling, and if you're a buyer actually and you're not a cash buyer, don't panic and think, well, I'm not a cash buyer, so I'm not going to be in a strong position, because actually we believe you are. Obviously there's caveats to this, and we sit down when there's numerous offers and we work out who we think is the best offer. It's not always the person that offers the most. It's not always the person that has a mortgage. It's not always the person with cash. It can be different circumstances at play, but generally speaking, as long as obviously if they've got a chain of 5 or 6, they're not in it's more of a difficult position. But at this level, that's extremely rare. So we want them to have to go through some pain and jump through some hoops in order to be in a position to put an offer in, rather than just having that cash in the bank and saying, yeah, I'll have it. There's not much pain to pull out at that point, whereas there's timings, there's 6 months on the mortgage, there's all sorts going on when you're on this side of the page. So yeah, just something that maybe you haven't thought about, or that will give you a different perspective when you enter the market, or when there's someone you know who enters the market. And it's important that for us in this industry that we keep this sort of data and we understand it, and we look at it, and we don't just go off the highest price, or we don't react instinctively to a cash buyer, or we don't we show each buyer the same level of respect, whether they're in a chain of 10 or whether they're a cash buyer, because it's very easy in the last 2 years to sell a home. It has been easy. The challenge obviously is getting that extra amount, but I think what our team has felt and what I felt when trying to buy a house is the respect for buyers has disappeared, because agents no longer need them, and we often have conversations in our team meetings of flipping that on its head and saying that we are going to need buyers over the next couple of years, and it's an uncomfortable position for everyone during this period, so let's make them feel comfortable and respected, and that they're not stupid for trying to buy a house within a chain of 10 and their money is as good as cash. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense, and I hope that gets you thinking about different angles and theories to do with buying a house and positions, and hopefully it maybe helps you or someone you know in their position. Any questions you have for us? Maybe Sam will be back next week, maybe she won't, who knows. But yeah, if you've got any questions, please fire it over to us either on Facebook, or you can email us, and we'll bring it up next week and hopefully answer it for you and help you in your position. And if you know of anyone, or if you're thinking of selling in the next 6 to 12 months and you want to know what the market's going to do, what that means for your home, etc., then please give us a call. It's 015 394 8811. We'd love the chance to come out and just have a chat with you. We won't try and come with a for sale board in our car or anything like that. We're there just to help you and answer questions and start off the relationship, which hopefully will be a good relationship for the next 5, 10 years, however long it may be. So yeah, if you know of anyone, that'd be amazing. So have a good week.